All right, let's see what this is all about.
This Savannah flight bound for Miami hit turbulence just moments after takeoff.
Part of having a good time is going on vacation, right? And I think everyone feels like they need a vacation. A lot of us don't allow ourselves the time, the space, or the energy to go on vacation. A lot of us, let's say, sabotage that elements of our life. We kind of back away from that because it's almost like the blessing is too good. We don't even want to be blessed. What is that? What is this toxic desire that we have to refuse and refute our own blessings? It's actually pretty insane. But speaking of vacations that are desperately needed, and speaking of blessings that were rejected, I have an article here for you guys today, actually from the Irish Sun. So I don't know why they're reporting on this, but Satan's disciple, quote unquote. Wild video shows demonic American Airlines passenger punching flight attendants after charging plane door. All right, so just from the title alone, I want you to understand what's happening right now, okay? Somebody with satanic affiliations, right, described as, quote, demonic, on an American Airlines flight, began punching flight attendants after attempting to open the plane's door. Now, I assume that this attempt was mid-flight. Otherwise, this wouldn't be that insane. It's like, you know, if we're on the runway and you're trying to open the door, maybe he just wants to leave, you know. I'll give him that. If you try to escape from the plane before the plane has even begun the takeoff process, like if the plane is standing still on the runway and you try to escape at that point, just let him go. Just let him go. Let him go. We don't even have to like redo the whole flight plan and everything. Just let him go. We don't need that. All right, you want to watch it? You watch it first, or do you want to read it first? Let's read it first, because I'm in charge. I get to decide what we do. All right. This is the terrifying moment an American Airlines passenger threw punches at flight attendants because Satan's disciple followed him on the plane, his sister claimed. DeLange Augustin, 31. All right, first of all, don't name your children DeLange. DeLange, any version of this clearly is not. That is some. Nope. We're not doing that. DeLange Augustin, 31, shocked fellow flyers when he started acting erratically and charged at a plane door just 1 minute into a flight from Savannah, Georgia to Miami, Florida. That's insane. I'm sorry, that's insane. You had the whole taxiing off the runway. You had plenty of time to try to escape this plane. You waited until we just took off to try to escape this plane. This to me sounds like, all right, here we go. Here's the photo of the demonic person who was arrested on the flight. He had been flying with his sister, Magina Augustin, who told cops they were going to Haiti to flee religious attacks of a spiritual nature. All right, I'm just going to put this in perspective for you. They didn't flee the attacks. Clearly, you're fleeing religious attacks of a spiritual nature, and then you end up trying to jump off a plane that's midair. Yeah, I think those spirit attacks gotcha. It sounds like, and I guess that's where we're getting to, right? That, you know, and I think this is a larger, deeper conversation about voodoo and Santeria and you know, the Caribbean in general, right? A lot of people believe in this kind of stuff, and a lot of people don't believe in this kind of stuff, right? And there's an old saying, if you step in the ocean, you're going to get wet, right? Which is to say, regardless of whether you believe it or not, if you mess around with it, it'll affect you, right? Because the people who do believe in it so much so that there's no really easy way to engage with that energy, so you just don't engage with that energy, right? That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to not engage with the energy. If you didn't grow up in a household where this voodoo nonsense was a part of your daily life, then there's no reason to get into that later in life. I think you just have to let that one go. You don't need it. You never needed it. If you needed it, you would have had it as a kid. You don't need it. You never needed it, right? I don't think you need it. I don't think you just don't need it. All right. Let's get back into the story. Chaos ensued on the flight operated by Envoy after DeLonghi started violently shaking and screaming in his seat on Monday evening. All right, evening flights. Let's talk about evening flights. I mean, me personally, I want everyone on their best behavior, and I feel like an evening flight just isn't that vibe. It just is not that vibe. He then turned in his seat, lifted his legs, and kicked a flight attendant in the chest when she came over believing he was having a medical emergency, because, yes, screaming and shaking, that would seem like this man is dying, right? The pilot then decided to turn the flight back around to Savannah, but the man allegedly continued to aggressively kick the seat of another passenger's seat. Shocking images showed the aftermath of the outburst as the seat had deformed and bent over. This guy destroyed an airplane seat. And I know many of us have wished that we had the opportunity to do so because the seat was so uncomfortable, but never in the context of a full-on demonic possession that ruined our trip to Miami. Fellow passenger Rob Rosenberg spoke to CBS Miami and said, "Destroyed this other man's seat, like he kicked it and punched it and just buckled the seat completely over." I think that's what Rob Rosenberg sounds like. Hit me up if that's not what you sound like. It'd be funny if you had a totally different voice. If he was like, "This is my real voice. My name is Rob Rosenberg. And he destroyed this other man's seat. Like he kicked it and he punched it and just buckled the seat completely over." That'd be a cool Rob Rosenberg, but I think you sound like the first guy. DeLonghi then calmed down, but kicked off again after the plane had landed and started taxiing to the gate. He reportedly started more chaos by storming to the front of the plane and holding on to his sister. The shocking video taken on board with just 8 passengers. Wait. So the plane had just 8 passengers and 5 crew members? He was seen throwing punches at the door while 3 other flyers fought to restrain him. That's like the whole flight. He reportedly also swallowed a set of rosary beads during the short-lived but horrifying journey. So now he's just full on The Exorcist. Chapter 13. His sister, Magina, told cops that he had made this bizarre move because they are a weapon of strength in the spiritual warfare. What the hell is he going through? I mean, this is astronomical. How insane this is. I don't think people can appreciate what's going on here. There's a man on a flight from Savannah, Georgia to Miami. This is a short flight, by the way. You're talking like less than an hour. All right? Maybe an hour tops. This is like the shortest flight. Okay? A minute into the flight, full-on demonic possession, shaking, screaming, destroys an entire seat on the airplane, swallows rosary beads, which I don't know if I buy the whole story of like, oh, he's just trying to get this weapon of strength in the spiritual warfare. Swallowing religious artifacts is something that the demon does in the movie, right? You know, like desecrating a crucifix or eating a scroll or I don't know, destroying a Buddha statue. That sounds like something like a demon would do, is try to consume the prayer beads, right? Well, who knows? Authorities quickly boarded the flight and it says, and now was charged. Well, we found a typo. And he was charged with interference with flight crew members. Magina appeared to excuse her brother's actions by telling authorities he hurt anyone because he hurts evil. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. This sentence makes no sense. And also the concept is nonsensical in nature. He hurt anyone because he hurts evil. She then added, DeLonge told her to pray. Quote, Satan's disciples had followed them onto the plane. Flyer Rob Rosenberg revealed more details of the horror on board as other passengers attempted to calm the erratic man. He said he was being so violent. You were like, this is not normal. He doesn't care anymore. Right? Rosenberg said Magina was singing while her brother was being arrested. He added, they were possessed. That was a very, very disturbing scene. I've seen a lot of stuff in my life, but that was probably the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. And that's how the article ends. So without further ado, let's actually just get into it. Let's watch this video. All right, let's see what this is all about.
This Savannah flight bound from Miami hit turbulence just moments after takeoff, and we're not talking about the skies.
Myself and my friend were talking, we're like, we could have to take this guy down.
Rob Rosenberg was on this Monday night flight when he says...
Hold on a second. Rob Rosenberg is an Aussie? That's wild. That's wild. That's actually crazy. There's like nobody on this flight. There is nobody on this. This is the emptiest flight. There's just like 10 people on this whole plane. It's basically a private flight. This guy's flying private to Miami and can't shake the demons. Why would you fly to Miami of all places if you felt like demons were on you? Don't go there. Don't go there. That's insane. Rob Rosenberg is from Australia. That's crazy. He's an Aussie. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
This Savannah flight bound for Miami hit turbulence just moments after takeoff, and we're not talking about the skies.
Myself and my friend were talking, we're like, we could have to take this guy down.
Rob Rosenberg was on this Monday night flight when he says a man, later identified as 31-year-old DeLonge Augustin, started violently shaking and screaming moments after.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. We'll get into that one later, that story. But his name was DeLonge. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. DeLonge. Not DeLonge. DeLonge. This whole time. This whole time his name was DeLonge. And then Rob Rosenberg is Australian. The Australian accent, I give it up to you. Because Rob Rosenberg on a flight to Miami sounds like a New Yorker trying to get away from his wife and kids for a few days. That's what I thought. I thought it was just the classic, like, yeah, I got to go check on the rental property. AKA. But that's wild. That's absolutely wild. Well, you never know. All right. You never know what you're going to get into. That's why I suggest you guys always stay safe on your travels. I know you want to vacate the premises. I know you want to go far and wide, but we've been seeing all kind of stuff lately. And I don't want you to limit your possibilities just because a handful of these recent plane crashes have kind of gotten stuck in your head. Because still, overall, you're more likely to be bitten by a homeless man in New York than die in a plane crash by a lot, though. Like significant differences in probability on those two. But yeah, that's wild. Imagine just trying to go to Miami and next thing you know, this guy is going to have an entire spiritual battle with the demons of hell on your plane, which are asking him to deboard the plane mid-flight. I think the demons were winning. Like if we had to guess, yes, the demons were winning. I don't agree with the sister at all. The sister was also yo, how insane is that? That there's just these two people on the plane who are just completely batshit crazy, right? They have a mental episode, and then both of them are like brainwashed and traumatized to the point where like she's like, oh yeah, he was just, you know, he was fighting off the spirits of evil. He only hurt people because he hurts evil. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. So he's just hurting random people because he's fighting evil, and what? These people are evil? Like, what? I just don't think people actually, you know, do the work to get themselves checked up with enough frequency to avoid this type of mental health decay. This is decay. All right. This is down and out. This is problematic. Wow. I'm actually kind of shaken up by that. I'm shaken up by that. I'm trying to go on a couple flights myself this year. Definitely got some plans. I won't say immediately what they are. I'm not in the business of telling my business to the business, but yeah. And I'm just thinking, like, what would I do in that situation where there's someone totally demonically possessed? Because there's an element of like, all right, if the demon shit is real, I don't know if I can touch them, right? But let's assume that they're the only ones weak enough to get possessed by this demon, right? Because I'm not going to negate your demons. But I will say that for the overwhelming majority of the human race, it's pretty easy not to end up in a violent, demonically possessed situation. You just avoid that with ease, and you don't even have to know how. But for some people who indulge that kind of stuff, and maybe there's a weakness there that just allows them to be taken over by these entities, these forces, yeah, just stay the hell off my flight. You know, this is why I fly like Delta. Okay. And I know what you're going to say with the da-da-da-da-da-da. I don't even like flying the partnership brands. Like, I don't even like flying the, you know, Delta flight brought to you by some other airline. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I need the original OG Delta flight. All right. It's got to be a Delta flight on a Delta plane with the Delta crew. I'll fly that because I know that there's some kind of a barrier. Like, no one's out here trying to save a ton of money. You know, you're just paying the price of the ticket. And that's the type of crowd you want to be around. You want to be around the type of crowd that just pays the price of the ticket and doesn't go, how could I travel thousands of miles for $62? I don't want to travel thousands of miles for $62. That sounds unsafe, like it's supposed to be unsafe. Thousands of miles, that has to be at least a few $100, at least, for a cheap seat. Otherwise, it's like, what value do you place on these things? Take them seriously. That's what I'm saying. You have to take that stuff seriously. But some people will never learn. You are watching the Freakout in the Mornings show live on Twitch with Aaron Ross. I am your host. I am the one you boast about when you want to do the most in front of your friends and they say gross. I am Aaron Ross.